It pains me to have to bring this news to you, but they shot a veteran. They paralyzed him. And the man who did it wasn't even supposed to be in the country. Meanwhile, taxpayers are watching illegals live better on welfare while most Americans are grinding day to day. Now, today, the video isn't just about Trump going off. It's about families left broken and cash being stolen and the policies that let that happen.
It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least. All the illegals, they still think we're stuck with them. No. You're about to be stuck in here with us. Clock is ticking. Could be a soft tick, could be a loud one, hard to say. A word of advice, though, I'd scram if I were you. Skedaddle. Vamoose, leave while you still can. Alligator Alcatraz is just the beginning. Next up is Shark Shawshank. Sharks, very dangerous, not the most reasonable of beasts. Some of you have seen the Discovery Channel and know what I'm talking about. Shark Week, very exciting. We'll live stream escape attempts, justice and economic stimulus in one. Rikers with grizzly bears is an option as well. We could use a snappier name, but the concept is strong to very strong in a big way, quite frankly. It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least.
I'm not going to lie to y'all. I had to ask AI if this was AI generated. And so far it's telling me it's not. But if that's the case, you heard that right. Trump ain't just talking tough. He's echoing what millions of us Americans are feeling. We've been patient. We've been quiet for too long under the previous administration. And now we done playing. I'm done playing babysitter for people who break into our home. Point blank period. But that line, they're stuck here with us, that's deeper than a soundbite, y'all. That's a warning shot to every sanctuary city, every activist DA, every open border politician. But that fire in Trump's tone, it came after something that should have made national headlines for days. A U.S. veteran, a father, shot and paralyzed by somebody who should have never been here.
All right, if y'all haven't heard the story of Jimmy Friesenhan, you need to, because this is a veteran who was shot and paralyzed by an illegal immigrant in San Antonio just last month. Now, Jimmy served in both the Army and the Marines. He was deployed 5 times, and last month while working security, he was shot in the throat and immediately paralyzed when an illegal immigrant opened fire on him. Now, I spoke to Jimmy's family, who state that he is still currently in the ICU. He's undergone 7 surgeries, 3 blood transfusions, multiple x-rays, multiple MRIs, and he is still unable to eat, speak, or even drink anything on his own.
His life is completely changed. He has a 6-month-old baby that he did get to see on Father's Day, and a realization to him was that he would never be able to actually hold her. So that was heartbreaking. He's got a lot of work to do, a lot of rehab ahead, a lot of medical care, interventions, just a whole entire alteration of his life.
And who was responsible for this situation? Well, that would be illegal immigrant Wilmer Ortega Ruiz, who again was arrested and released 4 times prior to this incident. He was first arrested in October 2020 for a DWI that was later reduced to a misdemeanor charge. Then you fast forward to August of 2023, he was arrested for violating his probation. Just 1 month later, he's arrested again for not showing up to court. Fast forward to November of 2024, he's arrested once again. So these 4 incidents, these 4 arrests and release happened prior to the incident, the shooting that happened of Jimmy just last month. And who is the district attorney that has been presiding over San Antonio while all of these releases were taking place? Well, that would be our current district attorney, Joe Gonzalez. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Joe Gonzalez, because Cashapp, one of our local stations, did an analysis back in 2023 in which they found that he dismissed over 6,000 criminal cases. These were both misdemeanors and felonies, by the way. This is an over 45% higher dismissal rate than his predecessor. He also received $900,000 from George Soros during his run for district attorney. And Gonzalez has stated that he's not going to be rerunning for district attorney. However, he is still going to be presiding over San Antonio until December of 2026. So just wanted to give you guys an idea of not only the criminal involved, but also the district attorney that has been involved and re-releasing people like this onto the streets of San Antonio. This is what Jimmy's family has to say about the matter.
It puts our justice system in a very negative light, I think, and it speaks volumes as to how much we are willing to bend over backwards to appease a certain population. I would hope that the DA would stand up for one of the American citizen, Texas citizen, veteran, this time open his eyes and do stand up for the American people. But I can't say with 100% certainty that I trust that that's going to happen.
Now, you want to talk about injustice. This man served in the armies and in the Marines. 5 deployments, came home, and he became a father. Yeah, he becomes a father. And now he can't even hold his own baby. Why? Because of an illegal immigrant. Released 4 times. 4 times by a Soros-backed DA. This man was just put back in the streets, just like that. Telling y'all, this ain't just politics. This is what happened when you let ideology get louder than law. That baby girl will grow up learning how brave her daddy was, but also how broken his country's priorities were when it let him down. And you think that'll be the end of it. Just wait. Because that same kind of pain hits other families too. Just listen to this father.
Son was serving in the United States Marine Corps. In the intel field, he worked for the National Security Agency. Jimmy was 21 years old. He was hit and killed riding his motorcycle by an illegal that the state of Maryland admitted they knew was illegal 5 years before he killed my son. And in that 5-year period, they'd had him in jail 5 times. He was convicted of domestic violence and put on probation, and he was illegal. Jimmy would have been 30 years old yesterday. We'll never know where he would be, what he would be doing. Last Tuesday, I was in Maryland to testify at the sentencing hearing because he re-entered again for the 3rd time, and the maximum they could give him was 46 months in jail. It's ridiculous. And for our governor to get on national television and say that he's going to stand up and protect these people is a gut punch to anybody that's lost one. Nobody, no Angel family's death can be considered an accident. Because if the government had done their job and deported these criminals, they would not have been there to kill our families. It's a hole in your heart that'll never be filled, and it never goes away. I just call on Governor Pritzker to be a true governor and stand by the federal laws and deport every one of them. Every one of them. I don't care if they're 2 or 20 or 80. Send them back. We have a path to citizenship. It's called the naturalization process. Use it.
5 warnings. That was 5 chances to protect American citizens. But the state obviously didn't care. And then the governor on national TV vowed to protect the ones who caused the pain. I don't know if y'all remember us playing the clip like that, playing that clip in one of our previous videos. This ain't immigration policy anymore, y'all. This is betrayal. So when our veterans get paralyzed and our fathers have to bury their sons, I want y'all to guess who's cashing in.
That when I worked at the grocery store and I cashed them out, the receipts were alarming. $13,000 on EBT food, not including the $29,000 that was on EBT cash.
They had $30,000 on their EBT cash balance left.
Yes.
And as a cashier, you can see that.
Yes.
And you're like, holy shit, what do you have 30 grand on
It's infuriating.
on one person's car?
It's infuriating. Yes, sir.
So they're not getting 600.
And while they're dressed very well, very well, how are you able to dress like that? Coming over here as running for help, that we're supposedly helping them? How are you dressed like that when we, the American people, are scrapping for the next set of work boots? That's a problem. That's a serious problem. That when I worked at the grocery store.
$42,000. That's not a typo. I remember when videos like this was popping up a lot last year. It's not a rumor. That's 2 full-time working class salaries on one EBT account, y'all. Meanwhile, the cashier who exposed this, she's scraping about work boots. This is what happens when Americans are punished for being honest and illegals are rewarded for cutting the lawn. And just when you think nobody is saying what needs to be said, this next woman laid it all out.
So are we not going to talk about the 1.4 million illegals that's on Medicaid? 1.4 million illegals that's on Medicaid. Just to give you a visual of what that looks like, it's the population of Hawaii. It's the population of New Hampshire. That's how many illegals is on our Medicaid system. When I tell you Medicaid system, that's supposed to be for pregnant women, for children, for people with disability, for elderly, for people who have low-income families. These illegals are sharing that with these qualified Americans.
Makes no sense.
So you mean now y'all mad because the president said he's going to kick them off? So what about the Americans? What about the people that's here who paid their due to this country? They don't matter? Yeah, he should kick them off. Y'all want to be mad? Be mad. Y'all going to be, listen to me. You guys need to get used to this because you're going to be mad for another couple of years. You guys are going to be mad because President Trump will be your president.
Yeah, this woman, she calling it just like it is. She said what Congress wouldn't. If you didn't build the house, don't complain when we lock the fridge, okay? If I'm gonna lock my door, all right? If you didn't build the house, like I don't want you complaining about nothing. Y'all get the metaphor. 1.4 million illegal immigrants on Medicaid, and they left what's to keep. Look, man, I bet the Democrats are super happy it's like this. I don't think she was being cold-hearted either. She was just like us, tired of watching Americans be treated like strangers in our own country. And if you still think this outrage is just a fringe opinion, wait until you hear what Rep. Corey Mills said on national TV, y'all.
Not to mention the fact that they continue to spin this lie that Republicans are eliminating Medicare and Medicaid. Let me be clear.
Yep.
If you are an able-bodied male or female who can go to work, or you're an illegal alien who is criminally here, then why should you be being paid for by taxpayers on Medicare and Medicaid? This doesn't eliminate those who are in need of these benefits. Look, I was adopted at 9 years old by my grandparents. These are people who relied on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. When my grandfather had quadruple pass, he relied on disability. You think that I'm going to touch any of that to hurt our elderly or to hurt those who are in need? Absolutely not, and neither is any other Republican. What we will do, though, is stop the waste, fraud, and abuse by able-bodied men and women who are taking advantage of the benefits, or criminal migrants who are here and who are on benefits that they're not deserving of. Not to mention the fact that they continue to spin this lie.
Let's break it down. The Big Beautiful Bill doesn't hate immigrants. It defends boundaries. If you're healthy, able-bodied, and here illegally, why should an American citizen foot your medical fees? I'm just saying, I ain't trying to pay your bills. That's not heartless. It's called prioritizing your own people. What's so hard, gutless about that? And yet the media wants to call that extreme. What's extreme about letting citizens die in ERs while benefits go to people who don't belong here? And while all of this unfolds, some cities are straight up breaking the law. Yep, they breaking the law to protect illegal immigrants. Like this.
Public comment in Key West City Hall lasted nearly 2 hours. It was a 6-1 vote among those commissioners. Well, the resolution makes the immigration enforcement agreement with Key West PD, quote, void and unenforceable. WLRN reports it was put in place by the department's police chief, but not approved by the commissioners. Local police officers now, it gives them training and the authority by Customs and Immigration to enforce those federal immigration laws. It's important to note here, every sheriff's office in Florida has now signed this agreement that gives them the authority now to act as ICE enforcing those federal immigration laws. Public comment in Key West City Hall lasted nearly
a city in Florida just voided an agreement with ICE. And that means even if an illegal commits a crime, local police won't work with federal agents to any capacity to deport them. That's not compassion. That's lawlessness. I keep trying to tell y'all. And it's becoming a norm. When your feelings matter more than your oath, the whole foundation crumbles. And for anyone who thinks this crackdown is just some sort of Trump thing, let me remind you of what Obama once said.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need. That's step number one. Step number two is to take on employers. Right now, an employer has more of a chance of getting hit by lightning than be prosecuted for hiring an undocumented worker. That has to change. They have to be held accountable. Start shedding some light on the problem, and we can once again be a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. That's what I intend to do as president of the United States.
That's Barack Obama. Not 2016 Obama. 2008 Obama. Secure the border. I'm over here trying to use his accent and messing up the words. Secure the border. Punish employees. Enforce the law. Funny how the same words that got him cheers back then get Trump called a bigot now. Maybe the issue isn't the message. Maybe the issue, follow me here, is who's finally doing something about it. America was never meant to be this open vault, okay? And for damn sure wasn't built to be some sort of doormat. This isn't about race. This is about respect for the laws, for the citizens, for the people who paid the price to build this country. A veteran can't hold his baby. A father has to bury his son with rage. I want to talk about justice. It starts with putting America first. Y'all be safe. Go check with somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. I just realized I didn't even bring myself on a big screen. But I'll say it again. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Appreciate y'all. Peace.